Good evening, everyone. My name is Greg Hodges. I have the great pleasure of serving as the president here at Patrick and Henry Community College. Would you join me in congratulating our 2023 RN graduates? Nursing school is by all accounts an incredibly difficult challenge. But the students that you see sitting in front of you tonight have overcome every obstacle and have made their way to this incredible day of being penned. Of course, they have one more challenge left. They've got state boards to pass, but we recognize the hard work, the incredible sacrifices that they've made to get to this point. I would be remiss if I did not extend our congratulations to moms and dads and spouses and friends and significant others that are sitting in the audience tonight. I think they would agree that they could not be here tonight without your support. Yes, would you give them a round of applause? So whether you help prepare a test, whether you help craft notes, whether you help babysit a child, or whether you help them in any capacity, this is your night to celebrate as well. So one more time, how about it for the 2023 RN graduates? And now I'm honored to introduce our head of our program. She is head of our Allied Health, director of our Allied Health and Nursing. This is Amy Webster, who's going to give us some introductory remarks tonight. Ms. Webster?
Well, good evening and welcome. I'm so excited to have you join us for the pinning ceremony. I've been reflecting in my 19 years at Patrick and Henry. This is the 38th cohort of associate degree graduates since I was onboarded as a new employee in 2004. I counted because I was really curious. There are 688 graduates from the associate degree nursing program just since I became employed here. And I'm just honored to present these nursing graduates to you tonight. The pinning ceremony is one of tradition. It was noted to be in the United Kingdom and the United States even in the early 1900s. And what makes today even more special on the cusp of a Mother's Day weekend is also that it is Florence Nightingale's birthday. So, having said that, we will learn a little bit more about Florence in a little while, shared by some of the other faculty members. There are so many people to thank. As Dr. Hodges said, the audience is filled with loved ones and supporters, and the sacrifices that you all make to ensure this happens does not go unnoticed and unappreciated. So again, I think we have to extend a big congratulations to you all here in the audience as well. I am honored to work in a great facility, a great learning institution that's in our community. It's a real gem to have Patrick and Henry Community College here. And we could not do what we do without the support of those in our community clinical partners, as well as our faculty, our simulation partners, and even the nurses within the organizations that serve as our preceptors. They are a valuable component to the education that these folks on this stage have achieved. I would like to also give a shout out to my supervisor, Dr. Colin Ferguson. He is an amazing dean of the STEM HAP division. And normally you would see him walk in with all of us, but tonight he's one of you because he's a parent of a graduate as well. So well done, Dr. Ferguson, well done. And on the front row, we have our academic vice president, Dr. Chris Wickstrom. So we're honored to have him join us tonight. And I would like to have my faculty stand and be recognized. They are so crucial to the outcomes of this program and to the education that is provided to these students here. Tonight we have Ms. Amy Cox, Mrs. Linda Wallace, Mrs. Whitney Plaster, Mrs. Rachel Cox, and Mrs. Whitney Hall. And Ms. Bethany O'Neill isn't with us this evening due to prior obligation, but she is definitely here in spirit. And I will say that these folks work tirelessly to have great outcomes for these folks that sit before us. So I just want to extend a congratulations to your hard work. And I thank you for all the work that you do. We're a great team, and there is no I in team, so thank you. I also need to acknowledge in the sound booth up above, we have two individuals, Ms. Hines and Mr. Ferguson, Randy Ferguson and Shauna Hines. Randy has been with the college I don't know how many years, I do apologize, but he always does the videography for the pinning ceremonies. And as I went upstairs tonight, for no in particular reason, just to say hi, it dawned on me that this will be his last pinning ceremony as he's retiring. And so I want to say thank you, Randy. As you go into retirement, we wish you all the best, and we will really miss you and appreciate all that you have done for this institution. And Ms. Hines, I failed to recognize you last night, but I give you a hand clap because you make the lights and the music all happen for this ceremony. So I appreciate that. Before I sit, because there's so many others that need to speak, I just want to say that I'm very proud of you. I'm an administrator in the program, and so sometimes I'm viewed as the mean principal, if you will. I'm really not. I'm very kind and I'm very passionate about nursing, and have been a nurse since 1996, starting my career as a practical nurse and progressing into my bachelor's degree for nursing and master's, and as I said before, very blessed to work at Patrick and Henry Community College. But as I told these folks this morning when I got to briefly speak with them, I read a statistic about almost 20 years ago now, when I first came to work here, that said every third patient would be without a nurse in 20 years. Well, here's where we are, 20 years later, just about, on the cusp thereof. And I would dare say that you all are entering the profession at a very challenging time. You have a lot of resources at your fingertips. We can Google just about anything in this world. But at the same time, in the hospitals, I think of all of the technology that we will have at our fingertips to provide the care for the patients. But what we miss the most are the personnel. So I'm thrilled that you are going to be joining the ranks of that, and that you're going to be the individuals at the bedside providing the highest level of care that you possibly can. And I hope that you do it with joy. I hope that every day when you wake up, whether you're on night shift, evening shift, day shift, that you're excited about the families you will meet and the patients that you'll get to care for, because you will learn so much from them in your journey. And the work that we do here extends into that and then far beyond. You all can take care of patients. When I think about what I could do at the bedside day to day and how many I could care for, and then I think about the impact of education and turning you all out and the numbers of clients you're going to care for, you do far more in the reach of being a graduate than I could have singularly done as a bedside nurse. And so I empower you to go forward, continue your education, but most importantly, care for your patients with joy. Love them when they're not happy, because sometimes patients don't love us. We're like their brick wall, and they just lash out at us because we're the ones that are there. And other times they embrace us. And 10 years from now, someone will approach you on the street in the Walmart or Target or wherever, and they will remember you. You may not remember them, but they will remember you and how you treated them. So do so with joy, do so with compassion, and just be kind. Be kind in a world that's not always kind. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Friends, family, loved ones, and plus ones, Thank you for joining us tonight to celebrate the completion of one of our greatest accomplishments, finishing nursing school. It is hard to believe that 2 years ago I was granted the opportunity to test for the admission into this great program, to then get a letter of acceptance, begin shopping for my first set of scrubs, stethoscope, whatever have you. And to say that 4 semesters ago, we walked into a classroom full of bright-eyed and nervous students, I think today we sit and stand here, nervous but tired. Anyway, I'm going to summarize our nursing school experience in short, as we are going to complete a case study. Our case study is about a patient who is observed pacing their room, tearful, sweating, with a fast heart rate and breathing heavy. We have the inability to think straight, having palpitations and feelings of being in a never-ending panic attack. This patient's onset of symptoms began 2 years ago. I believe it's a spoiler alert that it's one of us, a P&HCC nursing student, probably me at any given moment, you can ask. Anyway, as we continue with our case study, our patient discloses their trigger for panic as clinicals, late-night study sessions, exams, and the forever long wait for grades to become posted as we refreshed Canvas over and over again. Anyway, do you think we could formulate a diagnosis with our given assessments? Okay. I think we have disturbed sleep pattern related to the late night study sessions, early morning clinicals, as evidenced by the bags under all of our eyes. Our next diagnosis can go to you in the audience, our families. We have caregiver role strain, secondary to the patient's overwhelm, intermittently crying on your shoulders, and spontaneous mood swings. Without you in the audience tonight, we would not be sitting before you, and your support is immeasurable. Thank you so much. Okay, what do we expect our provider to order our patients? I think it's quite simple, tonight's pinning ceremony and tomorrow's graduation. Now staff, please do not worry. We cannot send our graduates or patients home tonight without educating them to deep breathe when needed while studying for our NCLEX or stepping onto the unit the first time thereafter. I am immensely proud of these individuals behind me because we overcame, we conquered, and we passed nursing school. Nursing school was hard, but this profession will be hard too. Like Ms. Webster said, it will be our job to love for and care for people. It will mean caring for people when people are hurting, caring for people when it's awkward, maybe embarrassing, but it will mean the world to these patients. And if it's one thing I do know for certain, caring for people is where we are going to shine. It doesn't matter who you are, why you are, or how you are. We will care for you and be your advocate. Now, yes, we are going to have days where we question our strengths, our skills, maybe the loose definition of sanity we have, but we will get right back up, dust ourselves off, and keep going. We will continue every single day to show up in someone else's time of need to help them heal. As close as I have become with these future nurses behind me, I know that all 10 of us will make a difference, and this is the reason we have chosen to begin in a profession known as its worst. Before I finish, I wish to extend a great thank you to the staff members up front and the clinical preceptors before us. I know we didn't make it easy, but if it wasn't for your reinforcing commitment to our education, none of this would have happened tonight. And from the bottom of my heart and these graduates behind me, thank you. Up next is a lady who inspired us to achieve, inspired us to believe, and became our role model for future nursing excellence. Please welcome PH alumni Hope Barker.
Well, first of all, I'm very honored to be here. This class is an amazing class. As you said, my name is Hope Barker. I've been a nurse for 31 years, this May, from this college. My mother was one of the very first instructors at this college back in the 60s, so I have a special heart for Patrick and Henry Community College. I think they turn out excellent nurses, personally. Anyway, I do want to congratulate you all. And so first of all, I'm going to do something that I may have done to you before, but I want you all to hold your right hand out. Now I want you to place it on your left shoulder. Now I want you to pat. For a job well done. Because seriously, nursing school is very hard. It's very stressful. It's very overwhelming. So I congratulate you. I also want to thank the nursing faculty, because if it were not for you all struggling at times through COVID, through all the different times, all the difficulties that you've had to go through, all of the different things that you have to go to make sure the college works for the tests and those kinds of things. But you all do such a wonderful job. It's obvious that you care. It's obvious that you want them to be the very best nurses that they can. And it shines so brightly to us at Soba Health Martinsville. I also want to congratulate you all, because I'm just telling you, the many all-nighters, the many tears, the laughter, the fear, the struggles, the dinners where they're talking about things that are not very appetizing. My husband is very used to all of the unappetizing things that I talk about during my dinner time. And so you all, I just want to congratulate you all for also making it through to them. So now, I wouldn't be me if I didn't tell a joke, because that's what I do. Laughter is the best medicine, and if you can't have fun at work, you're there at least 12 hours a day or more. You're more awake at work than you are at home. You spend more time with your work family than you do with your biological family or your plus ones, as Cody said. And so anyway, here's my joke. This lady goes to the doctor and she says, Doctor, I have the worst gas ever. I just don't know what to do. I pass gas everywhere I go. I pass gas in the grocery store aisle. I pass gas at the bank teller. In fact, I've been passing gas the whole time I've been in here with you. But the good news is they're silent and they don't smell. But we got to do something, doctor, because this is just terrible. So the doctor's steady writing. He finally says, okay, the first thing we're going to do is test your sense of hearing. And then the next thing we're going to do is test your sense of smell. Yeah, I'm sorry, but you have to have fun. If you don't have fun at work, I could not have made it the 31 years that I have so far. Plus, I want to do at least 20 more. I plan on being a nurse till I'm 80, and I hope that that's your plan too, because we're going to need you. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk to you about is I want you to come up with your why. Why did you become a nurse? I'll try to get over here so you can hear better. Because this is directed at you all. Why did you all become a nurse? You need to write it down. When you get time after all of the graduation and the pinning and the beach trips or whatever you plan on doing, and I want you to write down your why, because it's what's going to get you through. See, I hadn't always wanted to be a nurse. My mom was, but I floundered, I struggled, I just didn't know what I wanted. So I thought, what the heck, let's try nursing. But one of the biggest reasons I wanted to be a nurse was I wanted to make a difference in someone's life. I wanted to be able to make a difference, as I told you, Cody, that you can make a difference from morning to evening. You can see where you've made a change, whether it's in that patient's skin or if it's a family member who's having to let a loved one go. You can make a difference in their life. That's what we do. You know, in the mornings I pray, Lord, handpick my patients and the people I come in contact with. Help me to make a difference in their life. And so I want you to write it down, because I used to wake up and I'd say, Lord, why am I here? What's my purpose? Well, I personally believe that my purpose is to be his hands and feet and to make a difference in a patient's life. And when you have that, and you have those days that you feel like all you've been doing is chasing your tail and putting out fires, and you haven't been able, in your thought process, to make a difference in that person's life, then you go home and you're crying, or you're crying on the way home, because it's so hard, because you are not the nurse that you decided you wanted to be, that was your dream to be. And you feel like you failed. First of all, you haven't failed. You were there the whole day. It's just not every day you're going to be able to do all those things that in your ideal day you're going to be able to do. So you're going to go home and you're going to say, why am I doing this? I really don't know why I'm doing this. And I'm sorry, but these are facts. This is real truth here. And so you're going to get out that piece of paper and you're going to say, this is why I'm doing this. Because it's what's going to get you through. There are so many days, thank goodness they're all not like those days I'm talking about. Because on those days I say, hey, I'm just going to go work at Walmart at nights when nobody's around so I don't have to deal with people. Because there's some rough people that you have to deal with sometimes, whether you're a maid, a servant, or like she said, that person that they want to just beat up on. And so you got to be big enough to be able to know that it's not intentional or personal, that they don't know what else to do and they don't know how else to deal with what's going on. So you need to know what your why is. Next, you need to be kind to yourself. When you come out, you're going to sit there and you go, well, why don't I know this and why don't I know that? It just feels so stupid. I'm just messing up all the time. I don't know anything. I just feel so stupid. I don't want to ask questions because they're going to all think I'm stupid. Well, you know what? You're just coming out of nursing school. You need to be kind to yourself. You're not going to know hardly anything, to be perfectly honest with you, when you first come out. They've given you a base. I ask nursing students all the time, do you know why you do care plans? And oh my goodness, if I had to do the care plans that they have to do, I don't know if I'd have done it. My goodness, 25 pages, 30-some pages. Wow, that's like totally insane to me. But anyway, that 31 years ago, we didn't have to do it quite like that. But I would ask why, and sometimes they would answer me correctly, or sometimes they'd be sort of like, it's sort of crazy. But it's to teach you how to think, how to do the process, how to discern and figure out how you're going to take care of that patient for the day. So you have those basics. You've got the basics, like you said, your case study, and you did that rather well. But you need to be kind to yourself and ask lots of questions. I still ask lots of questions. I ask questions all the time. And there they are, there's hope again. But they don't get mad. One, they know how I'm thinking, so that when I've got an emergency, they come quick, because they know I mean business, okay? But if you don't ask questions, how are people going to understand your thought process? Now, if you ask the same question over and over again, then we got a problem, okay? But the bottom line is, it's okay not to know the answer. You know, I'll start out sometimes with a doctor and I'll say, hey, I may be stupid, but I won't be stupid long. You know what I mean? Because there's nothing wrong with not knowing. So what I want you to do is be kind to yourself. You cannot be super nurse. Not one of you can. Back during COVID, we would do I would do some crazy stuff. Like I'd turn my little yellow gown around and put it on backwards, and I'd go through super nurse because it was such an insane time. And you know, I hate to say this, but I don't think that's the last pandemic. You know, more is coming, so you've got to be able to be kind to yourself. One last thing. Prayer is the most powerful thing that you can do. See, I believe that I used to say, well, I guess all I can do is pray. Well, no. Holy Spirit sort of jerked me up by the neck and said, what are you talking about? That's the most powerful thing that you can do. Now, when I graduated many years ago, I don't know why I came away with the impression that it was unethical, that we were maybe taught that it was unethical to pray. It's unethical not to. Now, there's only 3 people so far in my years of nursing that have turned me down, because you do need to ask permission if you're going to do it out loud. That's ethical, okay? But I've only had 3 turn me down, and of course, I prayed for them. I just didn't do it out loud holding their hand, okay? But see, he can use you. I believe personally that God handpicked every single one of you to be his hands and feet. He can give you wisdom and discernment. When I first went to CCU, I was scared to death. Literally scared to death. I'd be in the bathroom going, Lord, I can't do this. I can't do this. Help me, Lord. Help me, Lord. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And the good news for me is I had to tinkle a lot. So I could talk a lot to him in the bathroom, okay? So be sure also and take those bathroom breaks. No UTIs allowed, okay? Not allowed. But the most powerful thing that you can do is pray. So don't be afraid to. Don't be afraid to ask. And I'm just so proud of you. This class has a special place in my heart. All the classes are amazing, and you all know that I love teaching you. I love taking you under my wing and showing you and letting you actually do. So you do that. As you grow and learn, don't ever forget where you came from, and always treat nursing students like you would want to be treated, because one day they may be the ones taking care of you. Thank you very much.
We'll now move into the presentation of the pins. Montana Adkins. Alana Clements. Campbell Ferguson. Camille Foley. Sydney Hankins. Taylor Hopkins. Devin Keene. Sydney Martin. Cody Meeks. Chloe Smith.
Good evening. The Jessie Fry Rhodes Nursing Scholarship was established in 2011 with a generous donation from the Hubble family of Collinsville. One award is made to a graduating RN student to be used towards the cost of NCLEX testing. Criteria for the award is a 3.0 GPA or higher, demonstrated financial need, residency in the Patrick and Henry Community College service area, and submission of an essay detailing the applicant's desire to be a nurse and contributions they plan to make to the profession of nursing. This semester, spring 2023's recipient of the Jessie Fry Rhodes Nursing Scholarship is Ms. Camille Foley.
We will now have the lighting of the lamps. An important part of many pinning ceremonies is the lighting of the lamps. Florence Nightingale, an English nurse and pioneer reformer, was born in Florence, Italy on May 12, 1820, exactly 203 years ago today. She is credited with creating the foundation of nursing, much of which is still followed in today's practice, and her name has become synonymous with the profession. This icon is known across the world as the Lady with the Lamp. It was Nightingale's work for wounded soldiers during the Crimean War that gained her this title. Amidst the war, Florence led a group of 38 nurses she had trained to Turkey to treat the sick and wounded British troops. Once there, her and her team realized that the nurses were overworked, had little medicines available, and the hospitals had poor sanitary conditions, so much so that many injured soldiers were dying not of their battle wounds, but of other contracted infections. In addition to procuring the required medicines and equipment, Florence Nightingale also ensured that the wards were tidied up and cleaned regularly. She set compliance with basic healthcare standards, nutrition, and personal hygiene by making sure everyone washed their hands to prevent the spread of germs, a gold practice that is still practiced by healthcare workers today. The nickname, the Lady with the Lamp, was given as Nightingale would tend to soldiers around the clock, often wandering the wards at night and carrying out duties and reassurance with a small lamp in her hands. As a tribute to Florence's dedication, this lamp icon has become a symbol of nursing, as the lamp will always shine brightly as a symbol of the care, compassion, and devotion nurses administer to their patients.
At this time, we'll do the International Pledge of Nursing recitation. I'd like to invite any nurses in the audience to please stand and recite the pledge with us. There is a copy of the pledge in your program. Yeah. In full knowledge of the obligations undertaking, I promise to care for the sick with all the skill and understanding I possess, without regard to race, creed, color, politics, or social status, sparing no effort to conserve life, to alleviate suffering, and to promote health. I will respect at all times the dignity and religious beliefs of the patients under my care, holding in confidence all personal information entrusted to me, and refrain from any action which might endanger life or health. I will endeavor to keep my professional knowledge and skill at the highest level and to give loyal support and cooperation to all members of the health team. I will do my utmost to honor the International Code of Ethics applied to nursing and to uphold the integrity of the professional nurse. Please join me in congratulating our Spring 2023